Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the Simple Pin podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about this super cool tool that Pinterest releases every single week. It's called Pinterest Presents Weekly. And when they release it, what I do is put it in our weekly email, Pinterest Made Simple, so that you can get quick and easy access to it just by subscribing to my email list. Now, today I'm going to break down what it is, how you use it, and 2 practical examples of how you can implement what you see in Pinterest Presents Weekly every single week to create a really great content funnel for Pinterest. One of the examples is going to be around a content creator, and one of the examples is going to be around an e-com store owner. So all that said, let's dive into today's podcast. But I don't want you to forget, sign up for Pinterest Made Simple. You'll find a link down below. This is our weekly Pinterest email. It's really awesome, I promise. You can read it in less than 10 minutes and get all the information you need to know about Pinterest. So what is Pinterest Presents Weekly? Think of it as like a weekly trend forecast released every single week by the Pinterest team specifically for the business community. So here's what makes it a little bit different than other trend reports. Other platforms are going to show you what's trending right now, but Pinterest is showing you what people are planning for. This is really important distinguisher when it comes to marketing on, say, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Is what's happening in the moment, whereas Pinterest users tend to be planning at least 45 days in advance. I recently had somebody ask me about Black Friday promotions on Pinterest, and I told them, it's not like you want to do a Black Friday promotion like you would do on Instagram where it's very in the moment. See, it's like discounted right now, because people on Pinterest, while deal shoppers, they're actually planning way back in September and October by saving different things to their boards in order to prepare for a Black Friday sale or even for buying gifts for someone. So an example would be a gift guide is going to serve you better on Pinterest than a Black Friday promotion. So think right now is the social media, planning is the Pinterest user. So once you have that, then you can take the Pinterest Predicts Weekly and really implement that for your plan. So each week, Pinterest analyzes behavior across their 578 million monthly users. And this is global, of course. So they're seeing where are the biggest increases in search queues. They break it down by categories, everything from food to fashion to home decor to wellness. And they show you exactly what percentage increase in searches are compared to the previous weeks or the previous time period. And here's a really valuable part. Every search they highlight links directly to trends.pinterest.com. Trends.pinterest.com is this amazing resource that you can use to see what is actually trending, remember, in the future on Pinterest. And there's lots of visuals. People are saving different things. They're discovering new related searches, and they're even creating targeted Pinterest ad campaigns around these trending topics. So a lot of this you can leverage for organic Pinterest marketing, but you could also leverage a lot of it for your ad campaigns. So it's really actionable. You can take advantage of it today. Again, I might beat a dead horse with this for searches and planning in the future. So let's walk through like a typical week. Let's say you open up Pinterest Made Simple, which is my free weekly email. You scroll down to resources or links from Pinterest, and oftentimes I will link to the current Pinterest Predicts Weekly and what that report is. So each week focuses on a major trend category with supporting data across multiple subcategories. I'm actually going to open a page right now. I'll show it here on the screen so you can see exactly what I'm looking at. By the way, if you're listening to this podcast in a podcast player, just know that we are also on YouTube, so you'll be able to see this visual that I am talking about. So quiet luxury here. It says, shh, the beauty searches are on the rise this week. On Pinterest, people are upgrading their beauty routines with quality looks and glowy skin. Just this week, there's a 5x increase in beauty routine tips. And it shows a high in August, a dip, and then back up in September. Other growing search terms in the last 3 weeks compared to the previous 3 weeks are 11 times increase in self-treatment, 2x increase in how to look expensive. I love that one. 75% increase in glowing body skin and a 60% increase in evening routine. So they're going to give you all the different breakdowns of a high category and then a subcategory with real percentage increases. Let's say in food, you might see something like a 3x increase in party food buffet searches, or 140% increase in fancy appetizers, or 135% increase in fall potluck dishes. So that's an example of what you're going to see as you look through Pinterest Predicts Weekly. Now, here's what makes it so valuable. These aren't random trends. They're all comparing the last 3 weeks to the previous 3 weeks. So you're seeing the momentum and the acceleration in real time. When something jumps 140%, that's not just a blip. That's a genuine shift in consumer interest that you could take advantage of. It's like Pinterest is saying to you, actually, they're serving up to you on a silver platter. Here you go. Here's what people are looking for. I get questions all the time from people saying, how do I know what the Pinterest user is interested in? We have Pinterest Predicts Weekly and we have the Trends tool. Those are really valuable tools, not only for you to plan for how to get in front of new users, but also how you can create content. I want to take a little bit of a sidestep here and just remind you, especially if you're new, so it wouldn't be a reminder of you, it'd be this new piece of information, that Pinterest users we identify as a cold user base. They're people who don't follow you. They generally don't know who you are. They're much more attached to a search term or a search or a prediction than they are your lifestyle and who you are and your brand. So that's why it's important to leverage trends as opposed to brand in order to get in front of people. Okay, let's go back. So here's a practical marketing example that I want to give you so that you can actually see how you can use these. So example one, let's say you are a food creator or maybe even a catering business. Here's an opportunity. Let's say a food blogger, catering company, or you sell like party supplies. You're looking at this week's trends and you're seeing fancy appetizer searches are up 140%, as is party food buffet is up 3x, which is huge, right? Step one, you want to create pin images around these exact terms. I'm saying you want to put fancy appetizers actually on that pin image. You can create this in Canva. You can go to our store and buy templates. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the link down below. If you're listening in your podcast app, I'll also put a link to our shop there. These are created by our image team and they're often refreshed based on what we know is working for our clients. So you can take that, start to create your image with a picture of your fancy appetizers or party food buffet layouts and use those exact phrases from Pinterest Predicts in your pin copy that is on your image. So instead of something like easy party snacks, you'd title fancy appetizers for your holiday party or party food buffet ideas. Okay, that's step one. Step two, optimize for trend timing. We're talking about Pinterest Predicts Weekly, which means these things are happening right now. So you want to publish these pins to Pinterest immediately, not next month. Pinterest's algorithm favors fresh content around trending topics. So create the image and plan to publish it the same week of the trend. Step three, link to relevant content. So we don't want to just upload a pin to Pinterest and let it sit there and have it not go anywhere, especially with your awesome pin copy. You want to link it to your blog post that talks about party appetizers. This could be a roundup of all the different posts that you have on your website. This could be a product that talks about how to make a fancy food buffet. If you're a caterer, you could link to your booking page, or you could link to your testimonial page that you have talking about how awesome you are at catering events. If you sell party supplies, link to your product collection page. The most important part is that that pin that gets uploaded is actually linking to a relevant topic. Now, last month, when I recorded my podcast about how to get discovered on Pinterest, one of the most important things is that image needs to match what is on the landing page. So make sure that happens. Step four, Use visual insights to inform your strategy. Head to trends.pinterest.com and search for fancy appetizers, and you're going to see what type of visuals are performing well. That way you can create maybe a second image that is similar to what people are already using in the trending topic around fancy appetizers. Maybe it's a multiple stacked image. Maybe it's a close up and a far away. You want to create content that matches what people are already engaging with. Now, it's good to go a little bit outside of what people are doing to kind of like stand out. One great strategy that we do with our design team here at Simple Pin, in fact, we just did it recently with our podcast art. If you don't pay attention to that, if you didn't know it was different, well, go check it out. So we were looking at this image, and Erin, who's our design director, had put my podcast image next to all the other podcasts, the first example, and then the second example in the same row next to all the other podcasts. Immediately, I knew what stood out to me because there was a pink color, and I was like, well, yeah, my eye went directly to that. And what was great is I looked at a sea of other podcast artwork that was very similar to mine, and that stood out. So do that with other people's images too. Create images that might pop in comparison to the sea of other images. All right, here's example 2. Now, I said I was going to do a content creator and then an e-commerce seller. So we're going to take the example of a clothing brand or a fashion retail. Let's say you run a clothing boutique and you notice that Pinterest predicts that fall party decor is up 55%. Or fall dinner party tablescape is up 90%. You might think, I don't sell party supplies. This doesn't apply to me. Wrong. Here's how it applies. 1, connecting your products to the trends that people are searching for. People planning for fall parties need outfits for those parties. Create pins around fall party outfit ideas or what to wear to a fall dinner party. Autumn party attire. You can switch out the keyword here, whatever it is. But you're piggybacking on the party planning trend, but you're directing it towards fashion. Step 2, create those styled looks. Now, this is when we get into your pin image where you're going to feature the complete outfit from your inventory styled specifically for fall gatherings. Use rich autumn colors, burgundy, rust, forest, green, mustard. Tailwind did a great study last year that talked about how people will engage with pins that are not related to your brand colors, but are more related to the trending seasonal colors. So even if your brand colors are not fall colors, use them because you're trying to pull in the user that is looking for fall outfits. Step 3, use contextual keywords. So in your pin descriptions, naturally weave in those trending search terms, something like planning your fall party outfit. This cozy burgundy sweater dress is perfect for fall dinner parties and autumn gatherings. You're using the trending language that people are already searching. Step 4, create this editorial approach. Think like a magazine. Maybe create pins titled 5 outfits for your next fall gathering or fall party style guide that showcase multiple pieces in your collection. Link to a blog post or lookbook on your website where people can shop these featured items. I noticed this actually recently with Portland Leather Company, who is here in Portland. I love their stuff. I love shopping at their store, and they do a really good job of pulling in their trending items with some seasonal elements to it. Do that. It's really important to get people engaged when they're interested in the season. Again, you don't have to sell exactly what's trending. You just need to understand the context of what's trending and position your products within that context. Here's the result of doing all of that. You're not just creating content hoping it's going to work. You're creating content you know people are actively searching for right now, using the exact language they're using, and you're doing it while this particular trend is hot. And I would argue actually that doing this trending content, like project, we'll call it, will benefit your other platforms as well. It puts you in the position that you're no longer guessing, but you're using data that Pinterest is giving you to drive your strategy. And that is just one. I've walked through one example from 1 week of Pinterest Predicts Weekly, applied to 2 different types of industries. Imagine if you do this every Wednesday consistently with some fresh data. This is honestly how you can stay ahead of the competition who's not even paying attention to that. So speaking of planning ahead, I don't want you to miss these insights. So every Wednesday, I put these in our Wednesday email, Pinterest Made Simple. Scroll down, you can click on a ton of different stuff. There's lots of links that you're going to kind of spider out to, but you'll see where we put in Pinterest Predicts Weekly, their report. If we don't have it in there, it's because Pinterest didn't release it, but we will put some other news or latest updates. Sometimes I'll even give stock reports in there. So make sure you are subscribed to our newsletter. You can find that by going to simplepinmedia.com/newsletter. All one word. You'll get that every Wednesday morning. Just stay subscribed. Even if you can't read every single week, you can at least pop in, check in as to what's going on with Pinterest. If you found this episode valuable, make sure you are subscribed to our podcast in all your podcast players, but also here on YouTube. We're going to have some new things coming up in 2026. We're going to have more interviews here on the podcast and then special YouTube videos that are more educational, where I help break this down in a really actionable way so that you can do these things right away within your Pinterest strategy. Alrighty, thanks so much for listening.